Android has become what they set out to destroy. Earlier this week, Android announced that you shouldn't have to choose between open and secure. And they're now announcing that app developers will need developer verification even if the app is being sideloaded.
Huh? How would that even work?
There's a rollout period for this, starting in October of this year, where Android verification will enter early access. In March 2026, it will be open to all developers, and in September 2026, these requirements will go into effect for Brazil, Indonesia, Singapore, and Thailand.
Absolutely.
And in 2027, this will roll out globally. Many developers are calling into question the reasoning for this, since in the Android developers blog post written by Suzanne Frey, VP of Product Trust and Growth for Android, she states, think of it like an ID check at the airport, which confirms a traveler's identity but is separate from the security screening of their bags. We'll be confirming who the developer is, not reviewing the content of their app or where it came from. Now hold on just a gosh darn second. How do you differentiate, in the case of an app, the difference between where it came from and who developed it? Huh? I question you this.
I don't think the where it came from even matters, which is probably why they don't care.
Her analogy makes no sense.
No.
Think of it like an ID check at the airport, which confirms a traveler's identity, but is separate from the security screening of their bags. So we'll be confirming who the developer is, not reviewing the content of their app or where it came from. But is not where it came from the developer.
I think they mean like, was this on a SDK download site? I think they mean where was the source that the user got it from, not necessarily did they get it directly from the creator. I think that's what she means. Does it matter? No, in my opinion.
There are more details to come, but what we're expecting, based on what we know so far, is this will work similar to Apple in the EU. Apple recently was mandated to allow sideloading on their devices using a similar verification method. This did not prevent Apple, however, from removing a popular torrenting app, iTorrent, from AltStore Pal, which is a popular alternative app store for iPhone. So basically, what this looks like to me is that Google has been carefully watching from the sort of sidelines.
Yeah.
Like if you think back to when Epic sued Apple and Google. See, people kind of forget that Epic sued both of them because Apple's a much more exciting headline and, finding any cracks in Apple's walled garden was a much more tantalizing, Apple. But no, Epic very much sued both Apple and Google over the monopolies of their various ecosystems. And it seems to me like Google has been watching extremely interestedly from the kind of sidelines to see what exactly it is that Apple can get away with here, to see what they can also lock down. And I think we're just kind of arriving at the logical conclusion, which is that, well, okay, if this is where the line is going to be, then we might as well be there. But I gotta say, as someone who very much enjoys the side loadability of apps for Android, I don't really know what to do about this.
What does this actually change? Because like if they're not inspecting the contents of the app, they're just checking who it's signed by. Who cares?
Is there that's only a hot take and a half.
But only certain developers that they're going to allow? Like, what is the next step in this? Effectively, like, is it going to be an allow list? So you have to be a known publisher by the Google Play Store in order to be sideloaded. The end of Revanced if sideloading is gone. Yeah, so like they might preemptively ban certain developers, but then could you just sign as a different developer?
But then you would also probably get banned for introducing some app that they don't approve of, and then...
But they're saying that they're not inspecting the apps.
Sure, but like, come on, how long is that going to last?
Well, that's what I'm saying is like, as its current state, it doesn't feel like it does anything. So what is their next step? I guess I didn't lay that out.
I mean, getting rid of apps they don't like, because otherwise, what would be the point?
I don't like it. What I want to follow this up with is, how's Graphene going?
Oh,
because honestly, immediately upon reading this, I was just like, it's just another flag that I need to get out.
So, Graphene's cool.
Yes.
As we talked about offline, we do have lives outside of WAN Show where we occasionally communicate with each other outside of WAN Show. So as we talked about already, there is a way to get call screening. You can just like get the Pixel dialer app, and it'll just like include Pixel features. And the GrapheneOS team's sort of position on installing apps like Facebook or apps like the Pixel Dialer is that, okay, you are giving up some of the privacy that you might have with GrapheneOS. Sorry, I keep holding up this phone, but
it's on another one.
You are giving up some of the privacy that you might normally have with GrapheneOS by installing those things, but it is most assuredly better than running those applications in a not sandboxed version of Google's services and ecosystem.
I had originally been like, well, if I'm going to like compromise the wall, why bother? But then ever since hearing that statement, it's been like, all right, I'm going to wait for you to finish.
Yeah.
But I might dive in.
I am already running into some issues. Okay. So here's an interesting one.
I don't necessarily mind some issues.
So Authy, for instance.
Okay.
If I try to sign into it, so let's go ahead and... Oh, nope, that is not my correct phone number. Here, I'm just going to get the exact right number. Yes. This device does not meet the minimum integrity requirements. So it turns out that there are some ways that Google does attempt to exert some control over device security. In this particular case, there is not, as far as I'm aware, not a meaningful impact on the actual security of that particular API that Authy is utilizing. But if app developers...
Sorry, I might have missed something. You said Google Authy's... So is this...
Authy's using like a secure check API of some sort. I forget Google? What it's called. From Google.
Got it.
Yeah. So you're not stuck with Authy. I can migrate off of Authy. In fact, I chose Authy like back before they were acquired, and it was a whole thing. It was a good choice at the time. It was like the choice at the time, and since then, I think people have moved on mostly to like Entei. I think that's how it's pronounced.
Yeah.
So I can.
There's a few now.
Yeah. So I could definitely move off of it. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just one app that I've found that, due to a choice by the app maker, simply will not run. And as far as I can tell, there's no real workaround for it. Another big category of apps that is challenging for the GrapheneOS team is banking apps. Not because there's any evidence that I've yet seen that you must use this integrity API. I keep forgetting what it's called, and I'm sorry, guys. Play Integrity API. I think that's the one, TZN. Not because, as far as I can tell, there's a meaningful security advantage to using it, but because it is a thing that exists, that some app developers have chosen to use. And if they have, well, too bad. The good news is my bank doesn't use it. So that's good for me.
For now.
But yours might.
Right.
So overall, I'm pretty jazzed about certain things. Like, check this out. Like, just how responsive it is. Like, it
looks fast.
Flippin'.
How's your battery usage?
Fast.
Because my phone right now, the only thing that's like sort of tempting me on getting a 10, which I don't want to do and almost certainly will not do, is that my phone is usually like, if I don't plug it in near the end of the night before I've gone to sleep, it will die on me almost every day.
Well, part of the problem for me to kind of, I don't have an apples to apples comparison for you because I'm running the 9A for both my like daily driver, which I finally finished signing into all my crap on this on my recent trip. So I'm going to be popping my SIM in it this weekend. But the Pixel 9A has like frickin' legendary battery life. Like I'm at 83% right now, and I've used it today.
Yeah.
Like I can barely kill this thing in a day if I try.
Yeah, this thing's been a bit of a tank the whole time. And I do like, it's pretty common. Like this is just because I didn't plug my phone in last night.
Right.
But it's pretty common that I'll like go for a walk or something. When I do that, I'll play Pokemon Go, and that'll battery hog like crazy.
Oh.
So that kind of makes sense.
Okay, that's what you get.
No, for sure.
Gamer.
Gamer time. But even when I don't, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, I guess. Oh man, what's going to happen? If I had to make a bold prediction, I mean, GrapheneOS is already a thing. Do we see more mainstream acceptance of alternative Androids? Like, do we go back to all the cool kids running CyanogenMod?
Hopefully.
Because so far...
It does feel like there's a bit of a wave going on. I do, to give them credit, not to not give them credit, to actually straight up give them credit, I think a lot of it is SteamOS, just normalizing Linux usage.
Sure.
But I think also just Windows being really annoying and the mobile platforms getting more overtly anti-user instead of just kind of like shrugging it off, with these lawsuits going on and them fighting it so hard and like clearly trying to skirt right along legal boundaries and stuff like that.
Most people aren't paying any attention to that though.
Yeah, but it's starting, you get the hardcores and the enthusiasts first.
Sure.
And then it leaks a little bit. I don't ever think a thing that you have to mod is going to be fully mainstream at pretty much any point.
But
what
if someone could deliver a pre-modded product? So, what if the GrapheneOS team,
if you hit a certain amount of enthusiast
gets hardware
interest, then those types of things become more and more viable.
Oh man, that'd be a huge tipping point. Because like the edge that Google has and that Apple has, it's in the camera, man.
Yeah.
It's in the camera. And so like that's been a differentiating feature for phones for so long. And it is genuinely important, even to normies who don't really care that much about anything else to do with their phone. Like if it didn't matter, so many more of us would be using Vivo phones or Honor or whatever else. And I know there are markets where those brands are more popular, but at least in North America, man, the camera seems to be just such a huge selling point. And other than the big players, it's pretty tough to deliver an outstanding camera experience. Oh. Then again, yeah, I mean, that's a really great point in Flowplane chat is if the camera mattered so much, then Sony shouldn't have faltered the way that they did. I mean, they had pretty outstanding cameras. So it's hard for me to predict what the future will hold, but
honestly, I think most people these days, genuinely, where would I put it? I think it's fair to say over 75% are just buying out of habit.
Oh, dude, that's huge. Okay, so there's definitely some weirdness. I just opened Facebook.
Whoa. And
it's just flipping out. Session expired. Log back in. Let's see. It's logging out now. Okay, did we do it? So, has it been the most seamless of experiences? No. Dan, can you do me a super huge solid favor and kind of mark this timestamp and email that to me for my GrapheneOS video? It's so frustrating. It's hard sometimes for me to catch some of the behavior that I notice on devices as I'm working through reviewing them or daily driving them. And so I'll go out on camera and I'll say, yeah, the latest iOS is like a glitchy piece of shit. And people be like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, well, okay, but that doesn't change that was my experience. And so it's great when I can like document these things that are just unequivocally weird, buggy behavior. The Facebook app should never do that. That's not a feature of the Facebook app to move around like that
Yeah.
when you first open it.
This is...
But you probably don't need the Facebook app, so
I was
maybe you'll
just
be
gonna
okay.
say, I don't know if I care, because like, if a very small number of apps work fine, if all of the rest of them have glitchy bugs, that's probably a good thing overall. If I could like designate on my phone,
Interesting
like, I
take.
want this particular app to like error out relatively often, I would probably do that. I'm not even kidding, because there's certain things that I like have to have installed, but I don't want them installed, and I have to use them for like work, and then they might distract me. And if it was just like error out, I'd be like, oh right, I need to go do something else anyways.
Okay. I think that setting screen time limits and...
Well, I do that.
Yeah, sure. I just think that might be a better approach than just this app that you
I'm just saying,
need
I don't
to
think
use
it's going to bother me.
crashes.
I don't think it's going to bother me.
I mean, it's prompting me to log back in. Do you not get bothered when you have to log into something?
To the main Facebook app, no. I don't think it's going to bother me.
Yeah.
If messages did that, I would get annoyed.
Okay, so you don't get to pick which apps glitch.
Do I have...
And you don't get to pick how they glitch.
But that's why I said it. If very specific ones worked totally fine,
Okay,
then
sure.
yeah. Do I have the... Yeah, I have the main Facebook app. I don't think I've ever used it. Do you... You must need it for like...
Marketplace.
See, there's always like a thing on it that I need, and then it has 30 other things that are really annoying, and then it will send the notifications and stuff for the other things, and I don't want them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to figure this out, because
Very
it's like
annoying.
doing it every time. Every time I click login, it's like flipping its biz. This is not something that I had encountered so far. Okay, am I quite ready to put the SIM in it? Sure. You know what? I'll go for it, and I'll just not use Facebook, I guess.
Nice.
Good luck, everybody. You know
I feel
how
like
much I
that's
love
rough
my
for you because
marketplace.
of marketplace. I wish there was a separate marketplace app, but they'll never do that because they want you to see all the other junk.
That's right. That's how they get ya.